How's everybody? Well, as first scrimmages go in the spring, you obviously have goals and objectives and things that you want to accomplish in the spring. And the first time you have a scrimmage, you kind of see where you're at, and all that. And I think we have some really good players. We have some guys that can play winning football. To me, we don't have enough. We don't have enough depth on our team. We don't have enough guys that can execute with confidence, play fast. So the way we need to go about that is just keep working these guys and keep practicing them. And I think I've said this before, but what a lot of players don't understand is you don't do things until you just get it right. You do it over and over and over until you can't get it wrong. And that's what our young guys have to understand. I think, offensively, for the first scrimmage, we executed pretty well today. Obviously, we got a little more experience. Ruggs had family issue today, funeral that he had to go to, so he was missing. We got a couple tight ends missing, a couple guys on defense missing, a couple guys playing in black jerseys. And I think it's going to be important that, some of the other guys that are going to come in the fall, especially the defensive players, I think there's 3 down guys, 2 more linebackers, 4 guys in the secondary. They're going to have to come along and add some depth, to our team on defense because we don't have enough guys that actually, we feel they have the potential but need to continue to grow, and that competition will definitely help them grow. So I thought both quarterbacks played pretty well today. Obviously, we've got work to do, but that's why we got to practice the rest of the spring and the summer and also fall camp to get ready to play the season.
Coach, we'll start over here on the left with Michael. Yeah, when you hire a new coach, a new coordinator, how much influence does he have in the philosophy and changing philosophies and schemes, and how does that work with you?
Not a lot. We kind of do what we do. I think a new coordinator brings new energy, new enthusiasm, new ideas. And, sometimes we make tweaks and adaptations to what we do. But, we were pretty successful on offense, especially last year. So why would we change a whole lot? I think some of the additions that we make are very positive and will be very helpful in helping us feature, some of the players that we have. And defensively, Pete was here, so we definitely need to improve. We slipped, and we continue to try to replace a lot of personnel year in and year out, whether guys leave the program early for the draft or whatever it might be. But we've never had this much turnover in players, like we did a year ago, and now we have again this year. So it affects depth. And it affects knowledge and experience. So we just have to keep working with the young players and probably have a pretty young team.
Coach, back to Cecil.
Coach, since it's the first scrimmage, and sorry to ask the first quarterback question, but how was it structured today? Was it mostly Tua? Was it Tua on one team, Mac on the other? What was the structure, the way you practiced the quarterbacks today?
Tua is obviously the starter. Mac is the guy that has the most experience and got some playing time last year and has made a lot of progress. And he's the guy that can execute best right now as the next best player. And then, we let Talia play some, with the twos. And, Paul played some as well. So we need to kind of see who's going to be the next best guy and if anybody can challenge the first 2 guys in terms of where they are. So that's kind of how we worked today, and that's how we had it planned. And I think those guys, have a ways to go. First time out there, they did some good things, but it was also pretty obvious that it was their first time out there.
Just what did you see from the defensive line today, and maybe over the course of the spring, have you seen that group progress?
The first group, played fairly well. The second group was not that great. I didn't watch the film yet, and I'm sure we'll find some good things that they did, and we'll find a lot of things that need to be fixed and a lot of things that need to be corrected. But I think the big thing is getting guys striking out of their hips and being more aggressive up front and trying to control the line of scrimmage a little better, which I thought the first group did a pretty good job of that. But, past that, I think we got lots of work to do.
Stay on that side with James.
Was just curious how the players handled situational awareness during the game and just communicating calls throughout as they get into a more game-like situation.
I'm sorry, I can't.
How the guys handle communication and getting in and out of calls and that
We didn't have any issues at all. I don't know why we would. We got a lot of experienced players, and they play a lot of football, so I don't know why Tua would have trouble with communication. Dylan Moses has played a lot of football here. We didn't have any communication errors. We had some lack of execution and mental errors in terms of executing what the calls were, but not really a lot of communication errors.
We'll stay over there with Ben.
Speaking kind of generally, what are some things that you can kind of simulate really well in scrimmages and some things that are difficult to simulate relative to how it would look in a game?
I think we try to create as many situations as we can in practice that we practice good against good a lot, so that's a lot like playing in a game. We do a lot of situational type things. We do a lot of 2-minute things. We did third down, we did red area, we did goal line, we did coming out. We did several 2-minute situations at the end. Other than the fans, the noise, football is football. And there's 11 guys out there on both sides, and the field's 100 yards deep and 53 yards wide. And there's 11 guys out there in different formations, and everybody's got to adapt and adjust and do their job, look at the right thing, react the right way, block the right guy, press the hole and read the run the right way. I mean, I don't know what changes in the game. Do they put more players on the field? Do they make you play like on ice? Is it still grass? I mean, I don't, it's no different. It's only different if you make it different. If you make the game different and you say, I'm going to have a lot of anxiety and I'm not going to be able to focus on looking at the right thing and I'm not going to be able to focus on doing what I'm supposed to do, just like I did in practice, then I guess it's different. But otherwise, you're supposed to be competing, playing hard, giving the best effort you can, focusing, trying to win, covering the guy you're supposed to cover, beating the guy you're supposed to beat if you're running a pass route, blocking a guy if you're trying to block him. So I don't know. I guess if you're outcome oriented, you would think the game is a lot different. But if you're process oriented and you're trying to play that particular play, hit that particular shot, if you're playing golf and not worried about what your score is going to be at the end of the day, I would say it's pretty much the same.
Agreed. Two more, Coach Alex and then Tony.
You mentioned Dylan earlier, but how are some of the other guys at the inside linebacker position progressing, especially maybe the younger guys, Markel, Jalen, Shane?
We have a lot of work to do. You know, those guys have ability. They make too many mental errors, and when you make mental errors at linebacker, you either have a gap that's unprotected, you have somebody that's not covered, and we had way too many of those today. So, and we just have to keep on working. You know, keep on working with them, and you know, see where it takes us. But you know, I thought some of the outside backers, you know, played pretty well today. So, but inside guys, we got lots of work to do.
Wrap up here with Tony.
This is the first game-like opportunity to see the special teams. Just how did the kicking game look out there?
Kicking game was good. I think we're a lot further ahead in the kicking game this year. You know, we made a lot of changes in the kicking game last year, which really was beneficial in terms of statistics. How explosive we were on kickoff return really improved. We improved punt return, explosive plays to the point where the second half of the season we weren't getting the ball kicked to us so that we could return it. I think that it seems like we have a few more guys that really buy into playing on special teams well. You know, coverage units did a pretty good job last year. So I think when you guys say special teams, I think of special teams. When you say special teams, you think of punter and kicker. So I don't know why you wouldn't just ask me about the punter and the kicker, because special teams are special teams. All right, the punter and the kicker are the punter and the kicker. All right, and we have a new freshman kicker who kicked well today. He also punts, and he punted well today. And then we have the other guys who actually were better today than what they've been in the past, which is what our hope is, that we can, develop them and get them to improve.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Brought to you by America's Thrift Store, where your donations benefit Make-A-Wish of Alabama. Find out more at donateforwishes.org.